as you know, you're some equipment away from starting a podcast. So,
Yeah.
so
everyone is an Amazon click away
Right.
from having a recording studio in their house.
exactly from having their parents hearing their innermost thoughts. So,
Now, you famously once said that you would not put someone on Instagram unless you are a step away from proposing.
Right.
What are your feelings on like a soft launch or like a hard launch on a relationship?
I'm still closer to that than I was, than I haven't drifted away from that opinion too much. I mean, I've been in relationships while on the podcast, and then I've been broken up from a relationship while on the podcast. So I have a heightened version of what everyone has. Just like you said, 200 followers, it doesn't matter. When you put something out there, you're the star of your own movie. You do feel whether it is true or not, whether people care or not, you do feel a sense of like, I got to walk that back. And so when you put someone on your Instagram, you go, I think you have to kind of have in your brain, like, there's a chance this doesn't work out and I got to put pictures in the archives and do all those things and explain myself to people that maybe I never would have had to explain myself to in another time. Like now, it's one thing for your parents and, oh, what happened to so-and-so? It's another thing for like, oh, you're in a relationship to like a random person you see once a year and you're going to go, well, and then you have to explain the story to them. So I think that's something we've all become kind of accustomed to, and we're a little bit more sacred about it. I do understand that.
I have been able to deduce on my own, like over the last year, 2 guys I know tangentially, like I used to know one of them maybe a little bit better. I was able to deduce just through Instagram
Right.
that these 2 had broken up.
Oh,
and
totally.
then later it was confirmed for me. And then I'm like, I got to know the whole story because they were together for like 7 years. And then
Totally.
eventually I got the whole story and it's like far more scandalous than you could ever fucking imagine. You say like on any given Sunday, you have the opportunity to be the most healthy person on earth or sort of destroy your life for the week.
Right. I mean, I live, it's, I think it's family. Food is always family. So like, it's how you're brought up, and food, body, weight is every conversation in my house. I'm in Boca right now. I'm staying with my parents. It's every conversation. Drink, have a drink. You're drinking too much. Like that's that's like the cycle of life. Eat. What are we having for dinner? What are we having for breakfast? What are we having for lunch? Eat. You got to get the food in control.
You look heavy.
You look heavy. It's the most Jewish sentence ever spoken. So and I just taped a special, and the whole last 20 minutes is about nighttime eating, and I talk about it a lot. And what was cool to talk about it on stage, because I've been nighttime eating my whole life, and it is truly irrational. It's truly feels beyond me sometimes, because I wake up in the morning when I don't nighttime eat, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so good. Why would I ever make myself not feel this good? And when I talk about it on stage and I see people connect, and it's so funny because I say it on the special, half of you are in. Half the people get it so well that I can't believe the other half don't get it as well as this half. And then I see the people that don't get it, and I'm like, why can't I do what you do? I just get it. Like, I'll be sitting at the bar, and like, again, I was like in a long-term relationship, and when I was like, I'm gonna be single again, I was like, I want to do it differently this time, and then and then I'll be like at a bar in the West Village drinking on Seamless, like browsing. I'm like, I'm doing what I did before. I'm the same fucking asshole. I get so mad at myself, and I'm like, but I am that person. Monday, new life. Thursday, have an extra drink, whatever. It's Thursday. You feel good in your pants because you've been working out since Monday. Mm-hmm. That's like the cycle of my life for a long time. And, I've always dealt with weight stuff my whole life. My family's always dealt with weight stuff. It's generational.
Now, speaking of like crowd work, so yeah, a lot of comics won't actually put their bits on, because then that kind of ruins it for people who are going. So a lot of comics are putting their crowd work, or basically like hecklers, and seeing
Right.
how they can just like improv in the moment. Now you have one of the greatest stories ever, which is what happened to you with this headshot at Mohegan Sun. Can you talk about this? Like, paint the picture. You're in. Listen, we've all been to Mohegan Sun. Like being in a casino was already a nightmare.
Casino gigs are horrendous no matter what. It's because you don't want to be the second option as a stand-up show. You don't want to be, because at a casino, people are there to gamble, and then, okay, how do I get away from gambling for an hour? Or how do I make the person I dragged here happy enough to come with me? So it's like a husband dragging their wife to the casino. Hey, let's go to a show. Okay, fine, we'll see the comedian, whatever the fuck he does. Or, wife brings the husband. Whoever's gambling is bringing someone who doesn't want to be there, and they're forced to go to a show. So the audience is already in, we don't care about this show mode. So a lot of those shows turn into like a little bit of a jousting match. Like they turn into like a little bit of a barroom brawl. And so I have this headshot, and when I first started comedy, I'm 27. I took a headshot. And then those headshots just live on the internet. Like, they're just out there. So, like, if someone Googles, they'll see my... And it's like, what the problem with a headshot is, like, that is what like, from the other person's point of view, that's what I want people to think I look like. So if you gain weight, or if you get older and you have a young headshot and a skinnier headshot, it looks like you're delusional. Like, it looks like... Oh, that's what I look like. And it's like, so I've taken...
See, it's funny. I don't think that way. I think, why don't they just get a new headshot?
Right. Well, then the second thought from that, wouldn't it be, he must be really delusional and hate how he looks right now. Like, so I did get new headshots, and sometimes the club just does it on their own. They just take the old one. But I have to go, hey, can you switch this out? Sometimes I'll email. Sometimes it just doesn't, I'm like, oh, they use the old one, and then you get, every now and again, I'll get a message. This isn't what you look like, and it feels horrible. Like when someone messages me that, like, oh, whoa, who's that? And it's like, it's fucking me, okay? Obviously, I like, I don't even know, like, why. I don't understand. Like, some people just don't have any feeling of shame to, like, message that. If I saw someone's headshot that looked like 30 pounds lighter, I would talk to other people about it, not them. So I go on stage at Mohegan Sun, and what they do is next to the stage, they have all the headshots of their upcoming performances to
Which
promote.
already is so strange.
So strange. And it's like to promote the next shows. Like, so they hadn't taken mine down. So I am performing next to 37-year-old me is performing next to a picture of 27-year-old me, and this guy yells out in the middle of the show, like there's like, I'm like doing my act, and then I stop for a second, and he goes, hey, I got a question. And I'm like, okay. He goes, when was that headshot taken? And this is in front of like 100 people, and I go, I don't know, like 10 years ago. And I was like, what kind of a fucked up question is that? Why are you asking that question? And he's like, I don't know, it just, it doesn't really look like you. And I'm like, this is the most, I have the video, it's on my Instagram, but I'm like, this is the most offensive conversation that I've ever had during a show. Like, you're literally just like you could only be pointing that out to be shitty.
But I love how you literally say to the guy, you know what, after the show,
oh, right.
Let's go backstage. I'll put the picture over my face, and you can, like, jerk off to me. To my
right. Well, I was like, I said, I was like, do you feel deceived? Did you think you were seeing a hotter comic? Like, did you get here, look at the picture, look at me, and go, what the fuck? I put money into this. Like, and then I said, yeah, listen, I'll make it up to you. I'll put the poster over my face. You can whack off to me with the poster or something. Yeah, like
I think everyone knows they've kind of made it in New York if you have been spotted on Dumois. And you have this distinction.
Right, apparently.
Please tell this story of how you were spotted on Dumois and how you like found out about this.
I didn't know what Dumois was, but here's the thing. I haven't made it. But because I have a female audience, I have a large crossover.
You've made it in the West Village.
That's right. And where else matters but there. I have a very big crossover with a gossip Instagram account, which that makes a lot of sense. If you like The Bachelor, you probably like some gossip. Hey, I like gossip too. Don't get me wrong. So apparently I was seen making out at a bar in the West Village, and someone wrote in, I'm looking at Jared Freid making out with someone else I kind of sort of recognize in the West Village. This was whatever. And I go, and so I saw it and I was like, it was just, and this was the second time. The first time was Tyler Cameron from The Bachelor, I've become friendly with. He was talking to me at a bar, and someone was like, Tyler Cameron's at this bar, because he had just come to our live show, and he was on it. He was great. And then they go, is it Tyler Cameron's at this bar? And then they were like, is he talking to a woman? And then they were like, no, it's just Jared Freid. So like that was my other Dumois sighting. Yeah, and then I got it sent to me by way too many people, and then my mom found out about it. So then my mom goes, send me the article. I heard you're in the paper. I'm like, yeah, I'm in paper. And it goes back
to... It's in page 6.
Right. Like, but to her, it goes back to what you were saying before, and it's like about like all of us have our own brand, and all of us, like, when do you put someone on your social media? And it's like our parents, my mom growing up would look at People magazine. That's what she would leaf through. And, just like you said with like finding out that they were broken up, but like through the Instagram, like you're your own, that's our People magazine, but we do it with people we kind of sort of know. And, there's an element of that. And, it is weird to have that's like, because no one cares and everyone cares. Like no one cares, but like everyone just likes to, gnaw on the bone of someone else's life. And,